Hey guys, today's video is going to be on how to rebuild this type of spindle, or Quil assembly, whatever you want to call them. There's several different names for these. Some people just call them deck spindles. We've always called them Quil assemblies, but most people call them deck spindles. But anyway, you can hear it sound dry first of all. This one's got some play in it. I don't know if you can see it. It's not real bad, and I've seen these a lot worse. This side's still good. Seems like it's got just a little tiny bit. I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild both of them while I got it down. And the part number for this Quil assembly, because you can get these for less than $20 a piece offline, buying the aftermarket brand. But you can get the bearings. And there's two of these bearings in each one of these. And you get these bearings for a couple dollars a piece, usually, depending on where you get them at. You see, I bought by a pack of them here, and so I put the part number for the complete spindle assembly, the shaft that's in it, and the bearing. Because sometimes you take these apart, and if it's been gone too long, the shaft will be worn where it's sitting there loose in the bearing. And if it's like that, you gotta buy a new shaft and new bearings, which you gotta do that. You might as well just buy the whole assembly. But hopefully I caught this soon enough that it's not too late to rebuild them, which it should be, because these were new about 3 or 4 years ago. I bought them brand new. And if you've seen in my last video, that's why I got this deck off. It's I had to patch this where the blade just bent in and hit the blade, and I added this crossbar here to help keep this from bending. And so hopefully this will help out a lot. And I figured while it was off, I would check the spindles, and sure enough, one of them got play. And it's always this side. It's got the discharge side. There's always more stress on this because it's throwing the grass out from both sides. So, but yeah, to start with, you want to take the belt guard off. And if this ain't your exact same Quil assembly, it's going to be similar on any of them. A lot of them will use the same bearing, but they'll come apart different. But you want to take the belt guard off, which is held on with 2 bolts. Then you'll remove the spindle, which is held on, but it looks like 4 bolts. And I'll show you something you got to watch for when you get ready to take it apart. And you just remove the 2 bolts, and your belt guard comes off. And you can take the belt off. This is a 38-inch cut Montgomery Ward deck, which was MTD made. Pretty standard for an older model mower. But what I was going to say, you notice there's a bunch of bolts here, and don't take these inner ones out yet. We will later, but to get it off the deck, you got to remove these 4 outer ones. There's 4 of them. Don't remove the inner ones yet. Just remove the 4 outer ones. First thing you want to do is remove this center bolt, and your blade and that adapter will come off all together. And you can get to all your bolts. You might want to spray them down with PB Blaster first. Okay, after you remove your 4 outer bolts, the whole Quil assembly will come right off. Now them inner bolts is what holds the bearings in. And I figured since I had the Quil assemblies off, go ahead and paint it. I scraped it clean, wire brushed it with a wire brush on an angle grinder. Got it down to just about bare metal and brushed it on with Rust-Oleum. I just picked brown because I just happen to have an old can laying around, and hopefully it'll dry. But it's an old can, so we'll see. I mixed a little lacquer thinner in with it, so that should help it. But yeah, that's something you want to do every year, is take it off and scrape it. You don't have to paint it every year unless you just want to, but I'd recommend it. It keeps them from rusting out. Alright guys, so the next thing you want to do after you get it off, you can do this while it's still on the deck if it might be easier for you. Take this nut off right here, and your brake disc and your pulley will come off. And it's got splines on it too, so sometimes it will cause a problem. I got an old broken blade adapter here. It fits the spline on this end. I'm going to put that in the vise so I can get that loose. If it's super tight, I'll put the impact on it. This is your brake disc that the pad comes down on. And we got in luck on this one. A lot of times they stick. Look like I put grease on it last time. So now I'm going to take these 3 bolts loose here. Some of them, you see how this one is, it's got the, they're like studs that go through there. They're usually not very tight anyway. They take all 3 of these out. Okay, so I'm just got this sitting in the vise like this. I'm going to try to press the shaft out. If you got an actual press, it'll come in handy on this. If not, use a brass hammer, but put the nut back on there, keep the threads from getting messed up. Okay, so that's the shaft. This one still looks good. If your bearings lock up, you might as well forget about reusing the shaft. What will happen, your inner race on the bearing right there will seize up and the shaft will keep trying to spin inside that. It'll just wear out. You also have a spacer in between the 2 bearings there. So now you gotta get this plate off. I'm gonna start a chisel up underneath here. It's really about the only way you can do it. I'm sure there's a better way, but you don't want to go crazy with it there. Just turn it a little bit. You get it so far, it should just pop off. Okay, so there's your top bearing plate. You always want to put the nut back on there because even though it's a brass hammer, the threads can still bend. And if something does happen, the nut will kind of act like a threader so you can re-thread it. Okay, so that's the whole spindle apart. These studs will stay in here. There's no need to take them out. Now you got to pop the bearing out. And since these are old bearings, you don't really have to be careful with them. Best thing I can tell you, just get them out any way you can. I'm just going to take a punch here, but if you got a press or something, you can put a socket in here and press that out, or hit it with a hammer. We're just going to try to hit it with a hammer. Maybe the whole thing will come out. And we got lucky, so that's probably the best way to do that. And the same thing for the other plate. So that's all it is to taking it apart and removing your old bearings. And this bearing here still feels good. This is the one that's got the wear on it. You can even hear it. It don't sound too heavy. Let's pop these open and look at them real quick. Okay, even though these are sealed bearings, you can still pop the seals out. I just take a knife, get up underneath it here, and pop it out. See, they don't ever put enough grease in these. And before we put the new bearings in there, we're going to add some grease to them. This is the one that feels bad, and you see it's completely dry. And these seals ain't much of a seal either on this type of bearing. They work good like on an electric motor or something, but when it's exposed to the grass and water from underneath, it still gets in there and washes the grease out. Okay, so these are brand new bearings. And again, there's the number on it, 6204 RS. And RS means it's sealed. If you see a Z, that means it's shielded, which is where you see that metal cage around it. Now these are just regular old ball bearings, all these are. So very carefully pop the seal out of it. And you see there isn't much grease in these from the factory. And that's why they don't last very long. They just put enough in there to get by with. So we're going to pack these full of wheel bearing grease. Alright guys, I decided to try the bearing packer after all. As you can see, even on the back side there's basically no grease in these at all. Okay, so a bearing packer works by injecting the grease through the bearing. And if you look, there's a grease fitting on the end. And it goes down and comes out around these two holes right here. And it's going to force the grease up around here, then inside there. And yes, it makes a mess. And actually, this is the first time I've ever used a bearing packer on a ball bearing. Usually use these on tapered roller bearings, like for vehicle wheel bearings. That's usually what you use these for. You kind of see what it's going to do. It's going to push it up in between there and up through the top and around that, and it'll squeeze the old grease out between the bottom there. You just get that barely snug. It don't have to be super tight. There comes the new grease. See, it works all the way in there in between all the bearings. That's the advantage of using the packer like this. If you just do it by hand, you're not going to get it in there quite as good. I'll warn you guys, anytime you're packing bearings, it makes a mess. It's the first time I used this new packer. There's several different types of bearing packers. I like this type the best. We got one at work. It's 100% different, but it does the same purpose. So now it's packed full of grease. I'm going to wipe away with a clean finger, wipe away any excess grease here. And like I said, this is an optional step, but this should make them last a lot longer. I like to put grease fittings on these, but it looks like it's going to be hard to do on this type. And your seals just go back in like this. You just line them up. You can feel them pop in. Then you want to clean up any excess grease. I'm going to do the same thing on the other bearing. I was also going to say, if you don't have a packer and you still want to do this, pop the seals off and just kind of pack it in there like that. Because when it gets hot, it's going to flow around there anyway. You can see it's that little bit's going to work in there by itself anyway. So if you don't have a packer and still want to add grease, just do it like that on both sides. Okay, this plate can actually go either way, but this is the bottom. I can still see some grass on the bottom. This is the top plate here. What you want to do, get the bearing started in it. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. Either just get it started like that and then do the same thing on the other and let the bolts tighten it up. Or you can either gently tap along the outside brace. Don't hit the inside. If you do that, you'll pound the bearings out. Or the best method is to have a socket the same size as this outside of this bearing. Just use that to tap it in. You don't want to take it too far. But the other cup has a stop on it. So it can only go so far on that side. And the same thing on the other one. So it goes in a little bit easier. Starts out like that. Now it's ready to go back together. And don't forget the center spacer. It goes sandwiched in between them. Okay, so I got the bearing tapped in almost all the way. You can see it'll be flush with this outside and that lip right there once you get it all together. And you should be able to see the holes that it came out of. Tap it just a little bit to get it in all the way. Now you put that spacer in. And you should be able to put the shaft in last. That should be the easiest way to do it as long as the spacer is lined up. What I'm going to do, Just put it together enough to get all the bolts started, then we'll put the shaft in there, we'll tighten everything. That way we make sure everything lined up. And we'll get all these bolts pretty tight. If you ever replace these, a lot of times these bolts are loose from the factory. I've seen that happen a lot. You always want to make sure they're tight. I'm going to tighten these up off camera here. And after you get all 3 bolts good and tight, flip it over. You're ready to put the pulley and disc back on. But on these splines here, you can either put grease on them or anti-seize. Either one will work. We're going to use anti-seize this time. Just makes things easier to take apart later on. And your blade disc, it's got a little notch here. It goes in the pulley right there to keep it from spinning. And I don't recommend using the impact to put this nut back together with. I recommend using a ratchet, 1/2-inch drive ratchet. It's a 15/16 socket. So I'm going to tighten that up off camera here. Alright guys, I got it all back together here and everything's tight on it. It's smooth as can be, no noise or nothing. Now if you put this together and it don't want to spin free, one of your bearings must have got knocked out or you didn't put the spacer in or something's out of line or something. It should spin free just like that. Compare it to the old one that ain't rebuilt yet. It just sounds dry. So. Now when you get ready to reinstall these back on the deck, you'll go back on with your 4 bolts. And your center bolt holds the blade on. It goes back in just like it came apart. So just follow the teardown assembly and do it backwards. You'll be fine on that. Alright guys, we got done with the other one. And I wasn't going to show any of the other one on camera because it's the same thing basically. But I ran into all kinds of problems on this one. The pulley was stuck on the shaft. This is the shaft that came out of it. The threads got ruined on it completely. And I found another shaft out of another Quil assembly and the threads were messed up on it. So I ended up cutting it off because the threads are so chewed up on the end. And I found a new starter thread right there. And believe it or not, it's a 5/8 18 nut. But believe it or not, it'll thread on there. So that'll work. I just wanted to share it with you and let you know that not everything goes as easy as what you've seen on the video. Well guys, I guess that's about it for rebuilding this type of spindle. Like I said, there's several different designs, but most of them are similar. Some of the other ones got like a tube when you're newer motors, but it should be a similar type of bearing. There'll be a spacer in there. But they're all similar. But well guys, if you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching.